Sounds great. All right, so a little, really quick introduction about myself. Yeah, I've interacted with you guys before, with many of you, and you know me from my content on LinkedIn, but I'm basically an immigrant from Ukraine, so English is not my first language. During my retail career, I worked for well-known brands like Abercrombie and Fitch and Victoria's Secret. Even though I loved many of my responsibilities as a retail and assistant and store manager, I knew I didn't want to do it forever. So back in August of 2019, I successfully transitioned to digital marketing, and I had no prior experience and no connections in the industry. So I'm very passionate about helping others do the same. And so this is one of the reasons why we created this workshop. Another reason why we created this workshop is because it's very obvious that retail industry has been going through a major transformation, and fashion retail was one of the hardest hit sectors during COVID-19 lockdown. I mean, you guys as retail managers, you've seen it. And so as a result, many retail workers like yourself have lost their jobs after 5, 10, 20 years of loyal work for their brands. Many of my friends were, calling me extremely frustrated because that happened to them. Um, Another reason why we created this workshop is that we keep seeing all these store closures, and over 11,000 store closures happen in just 2020, in addition to over 9,000 stores that closed in 2019. What's more, economists believe that over 100,000 retail stores are going to disappear by 2025, which is only 4 years from now. So if you were thinking, why would so many stores close if the COVID-19 vaccine is almost here, and we're hoping that things will go back to normal, but there are some trends and some data that tells us that the economist predictions are actually true. And your corporate is obviously not going to tell you about this. So let me go over these trends really quick. So one trend is that people are buying more and more stuff online than they used to. So can you imagine that half of United States households are now Amazon Prime subscribers? 69% of Americans shop online, and majority, 59% of these shoppers buy clothing items. So if you're in fashion retail, that should tell you that your industry, your sector of retail could be hit the hardest by these trends. Another trend is that American retail as a whole is overbuilt. So Americans have far more indoor shopping space than anyone else on the planet, 23.5 square feet per person. The next two on the list, Canada and Australia, have 16.4 and 11.1 respectively. So that's why, because these malls are overbuilt so much, the visits declined 50% between 2010 and 2013, and they keep falling every year since. So if you're in retail, you might be observing some trends that you're not able to make last year's numbers, which is something that I observed when I was in retail. Another trend in retail is that young people are driven by the experiences that will make the best social media content. So something that we're noticing is that malls are spending millions reinventing themselves as integrated lifestyle hubs. So they're adding yoga studios, medical clinics, microbreweries. They also invest in digital marketing more and more to attract their buyers back into the physical stores. So that might be another trend that you're noticing in your physical stores. So consumer behavior has changed, and brands have to adjust how they interact with consumers. So for retail workers, it means adjustment. Whether you stay in retail or not, you have to face the change. You have to adjust. And so right now you might be thinking, will I be able to find a job in my industry in the future? What are other careers that are available for someone with my experience? And if I have to change careers, where do I go and where do I even start? And this is why we created this workshop. So stay until the end to find out the answers. So what we want to do with this workshop is we want to show you how you can highlight your experience on your resume. So we'll share a master list of skills and responsibilities you can put on your resume. So stay until the end to get it. What career options are available for you with retail experience, both offline and online? and what careers will be in high demand in the nearest future. But before I jump into it, I want to do a quick check-in with you guys and see how are you feeling? Like, are you excited for this workshop? Are you, feeling maybe uncertain? Are you ready for this new fulfilling career path? Feel free to answer or type in the chat.
For me, at least, I'm most definitely looking for different avenues other than retail. I've been in retail for like 10 plus years and I'm ready to go ahead and start something different. I, as a store manager, have seen the decline of people coming in and our numbers not hitting. So um, I want to do something that I know in the future I'll have a job in.
Absolutely. I so agree with you. Thank you so much. Anyone else wanted to share? I see the chat here. Um, Nicole, awesome. All right. Well, if you guys, feel like sharing your feelings about this workshop, go ahead and type in the chat, and I'm gonna resume the workshop. So, something that I'm excited to share with you guys is that even though it seems like the situation retail workers are in is new, it's actually not. So there were several industrial revolutions during the 18th and 19th century when technological advancement and globalization impacted the labor market. So, when mining and manufacturing industries were going through transformation, many people were fearful of the change. So, one economist said, quote, since the dawn of industrial age, a recurrent fear has been that technological change will spawn mass unemployment, something that we've seen, right, with even COVID-19. Classical economists predicted that this would not happen because people would find other jobs, albeit possibly after a long period of painful adjustment. By and large, that prediction has proven to be correct. So the truth is that people always adjust and persevere, even if it takes them a long period of painful adjustment. However, our goal here is to provide the tools to make your adjustment much easier and faster. So what roles are available for someone with retail experience? So some of the skills, right? So the skill set that retail management professionals develop is very broad. And you know it because you work in retail. So some of the skills that retail management professionals develop, and you can either screenshot this or take notes, is customer service, patience, the ability to remain calm in stressful situations, the ability to accept criticism, work well under pressure, the ability to work well with others, leadership skills, team building, hiring and training, payroll management, asset protection, multitasking, resilience and adaptability, organization, communication, cash handling, sales, familiarity with POS software, the ability to troubleshoot without much direction. Some stores even have social media pages and other retail related skills depending on your brand and role. So that can include merchandising, floor sets, mapping, event management, sales training, new store openings, closures, shipments, etc. So you're basically running a business, but for some reason, um, there is this stigma that retail managers don't know anything. So skills that are usually emphasized as retail management professionals assets are the following: customer service skills, teamwork, collaboration, leadership skills, empathy, sales skills, the ability to use computer and POS, cash handling. So based on these skills, here are the traditional jobs that retail managers transition into: customer service rep, insurance sales agent, leasing associate, real estate broker, salesperson, financial service sales agent, banker or teller, manager at a car rental company. So these are the paths that I've seen, other retail managers transition into. If you know any other jobs that your maybe friends transitioned into, feel free to comment in the chat. Also, if you get lucky and you have connections or a business degree, you can also get a job as administrative assistant, executive assistant, or a manager at a salon or a clinic. So, depending on your degree, you can definitely transition into other industries. So what we're noticing is that all of these customer service roles involve face-to-face customer service mostly. And we're hoping that the pandemic will be over soon and all of these jobs are going to demand more and more workers. But for now, these industries are suffering from the pandemic as much as retail. So many of the businesses had to let go of their core workers, and these core workers are competing for the same jobs as you guys are looking for. So no wonder that every position attracts over 250 applicants. So if you've been applying for these jobs, if you've been trying to transition into one of these roles, you might feel exhausted because the competition is crazy. Um, and also, most likely you didn't love the idea of selling insurance in the first place. So that was just, something that you considered because you just didn't want to stay in retail. So this is why so many people who try to leave retail, they actually find themselves back in the retail stores because they pursue this route of relying on their customer service and sales skills only. So, whenever you decide to change careers, you have to identify what skills you have to offer, what interests you, what jobs are in demand that would pay for your current skills, and what skills you can develop to offer it to the job market. And I recommend that you write down these questions and think about them because I believe that retail managers have more to offer than what is considered to be their biggest asset, customer service or sales. And now I want to introduce our Natalie Arch, who is a co-founder of Digital Career Change. She's a certified career transition coach. Natalie graduated with a bachelor and degree of science in psychology from Florida State University. She also has master's in organizational and personal psychology from the University of Valencia. And Natalie is also the director of operations at a digital marketing company, Reputation Resolutions, featured by International Business Times and Neil Patel as one of the best reputation management services in 2021. So Natalie will continue on and discuss what jobs are in demand.
Well, thank you so much for the kind introduction, Tatiana, and so pleased to have you all here this evening, and thank you so much for joining us. So to continue what Tatiana was saying, when you're transitioning from retail into another career field, it's essential to consider what jobs are in demand. So before you put your time, effort, and money into a new career, again, it's essential to consider the trajectory of the career field and what transferable skills you have to offer in that job market. So tonight we're going to make a case for digital marketing, and I'll share some statistics for why we know that this career field is growing. So according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the demand for marketing is expected to grow about as fast as average for all occupations, even without COVID-19. But there are some particular areas that are expected to grow even faster than average. So an annual survey of chief marketing officers also showed that even as overall firm budgets and revenues fell in many sectors due to the pandemic, marketing budgets still rose. So this reflects the focus on maintaining brand awareness and retaining customers despite the hard times. So by June of 2020, companies had adjusted their investment in customer experience from 16.7% of the marketing budget, which was up from 15.2% in February of that same year last year. So marketers expected the number to grow to 20.6% in the next 3 years. So there are also different reports from Forrester Research and eMarketer that show the estimated allocation of marketing funds offline versus online and across the digital channels. So again, what we're going to highlight just some particular aspects of digital marketing that are growing the fastest as well. So here are some conclusions from those reports. So search engine marketing is expected to capture the largest share of online spend. So that's with online display. So banner ads, online video, and more, taking the second largest share. Online video represents the highest growth category, with the anticipated investment more than doubling 2016 numbers by 2021. Social media advertising investments are also expected to continue to grow with a 17% compound annual growth rate from 2016 to 2021. Social media spending overall averaged 13% of the total marketing budget in the February 2020 CMO survey, marking the second highest point in their survey history. So digital marketing is pacing at an 11% compound annual growth rate between 2016 and 2021, again, with the biggest growth occurring in online video. So just highlighting some areas in particular that are be high growth areas and a good place to put your time and effort if you're looking to transition into digital marketing. So the good news is that you've already developed various transferable skills that digital marketers need. So what do retail managers and digital marketers have in common? So first is organization skills. So as a retail manager, you organize your team to complete various projects. So shipments, floor sets, achieving target sales goals and goals, and more. And as a digital marketer, you'd run multiple campaigns. So involving different people or even teams, leading the project from the concept to completion. And just like you have to have a brand guide and a floor set map to create a floor set, digital marketers have a plan to execute their campaigns. And they also have to collect data, just like you do when you make sure that you have enough product to execute the floor set and enough staff scheduled in accordance with your payroll. So you use the same organizational skills, but in a different setting. So the next skill we'll touch upon is customer service, as Tatiana has mentioned as well. So as a retail manager, you're connecting with customers, you're guiding them through their buyer's journey. So from browsing around the store, their fitting room experience, add-ons, checkout, and signing up for in-store credit cards. And as a digital marketer, in a similar way, you'll learn about your audience and you'll guide them through their buyer's journey by building a funnel. So from awareness of your brand to consideration, to purchase, to retargeting, etc. So it's a different way of interacting with your customers, but it requires attention and focuses on the customer. So next is adaptability and creative thinking. So as a retail manager, you adapt to changes when new store initiatives are being implemented or when old ways of approaching a customer just don't work anymore, but the target results still need to be achieved. And as a digital marketer, you'll innovate in various ways. So testing different content, different channels, audiences, SEO strategies, and optimizing what works consistently. Next is the ability to analyze data and draw insights. So as a retail manager, you have to analyze store-specific data to understand and impact consumer behaviors. So conversion, dollars per footstep, payroll, data, and more. And as a digital marketer, you'll have to analyze the performance of campaigns and consumer behaviors. So depending on the channel, it can be the opening rate in an email marketing campaign, engagement on social media, ranking for SEO, conversions for ad, etc. Next is multitasking. So as a retail manager, you have to juggle customer service, merchandising, training new employees, answering the phone, upselling, and protecting the merchandise from shoplifters all at the same time. And as a digital marketer, you have to also run multiple campaigns at the same time. Even though you don't necessarily have to do all the tasks simultaneously, you do have to be able to work on different client campaigns over the same period of time. Next is problem solving. So in retail, things often don't go as planned. So you might have call outs that mean you're shorthanded or understaffed and you have to find coverage. And sometimes you don't receive enough merchandise for the floor set, or your cash registers all of a sudden stop working and you have to troubleshoot them. And as a digital marketer, things also don't always go as planned, but not to the extent of retail. So you might have client budgets to work around, or search engine and social media algorithms that sometimes just don't work as we wish they did, and freelancers who may not cooperate either. So next is attention to detail. As a retail manager, you have to ensure that the floor set is executed to the T. So people are scheduled on the correct days and that they proofread an email to their boss before sending it. So as a digital marketer, you have to proofread content in emails to your clients. You have to make sure that the right information is communicated to the right people on the team. And since you manage multiple campaigns at the same time, you have to make sure that there are no mix-ups and you're sending the right information to the right person. So as you can see, retail managers and digital marketers have a lot in common, and they use these same skills, but just in different environments. So you might be thinking to yourself, all right, well, do I need to go back to school to transition into digital marketing? I don't have any industry experience or connections. How am I going to enter this new field? So I actually didn't go to school to be a digital marketer, and Tatiana didn't either, but we were able to successfully transition. The truth is that huge companies like Google, Whole Foods, Apple, and IBM, they don't require a degree to apply. So here's what Laszlo Block, Google's former SVP of People Operations, said. When you look at people who don't go to school and make their way in the world, those are exceptional human beings. And we should do everything we can to find those people. So this also applies to career changers. Companies not only hire self-taught individuals, but they also go out of their way to find them. So you don't have to go back to school and get a whole new degree. So you don't even have to go to an expensive boot camp, but if you want to, please go ahead. They can be very valuable. But all you need is an assessment of what skills you do have, what skills are required for this new job that you want to transition to, and then you can see what skills you need to develop and then how you can get there. So when it comes to digital marketing, most resources to help you gain the necessary skills are available online and for free, or they're a low cost. So the way to practice the skills is also very easily reached. It's all on your computer. So here's just a graphic for you to see the intersection of retail managers and digital marketers. So as you can see, they have a lot in common. And there are some skills that you might need to go out of your way to look into or develop, but it's very easily attainable from the comfort of your own home and with your own laptop. So the next steps, how do you make a plan to achieve sustainable results? Having a vision for your ideal career based on your true values will ensure your career is a reflection of your true self, which will further motivate you toward your goal. So we're going to take a little time and just go through these questions. If you have a sheet of paper to take some notes, or even on your computer, we recommend taking that out at this point, and we'll do a little bit of brainstorming. So the first question that we'd like you to note down your answer to is, what do you enjoy doing at your current job? Next, and we'll leave this up on the screen, and we'll give you some time just to note these down, but I'll just go through the questions here first. And the next is, what are your top 5 values? So we listed some examples here. So it might be achievement or accessibility, stability, creativity, flexibility, structure, cooperation, support, service, mastery, leadership, and more. So just take some time and note down what the 5 most important values are to you. And then envision your ideal career. So how are each of these values encompassed in this role? And finally, on a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you to achieving this? How badly do you want to move forward, and how badly do you want to let go of your retail position? So again, we'll give you a little time just to take some notes here, and then we'll move forward with the next set of questions. Okay, so next, market needs. So now that you have noted down what your values are, what your ideal career is, we have to consider what the market actually needs. So what's someone going to actually pay you to do? So to close the deal with a human decision maker and successfully transition career fields, you need to highlight your most relevant skills and how they will fill the employer's needs. So once you've whittled down your desired career that you'd like to transition to, ask yourself, what problems have you solved as a retail manager, for instance, and what improvements have you made? And how do those results translate into dollars? So have you made efficiencies? How have you helped automate processes? These are some examples that might help your potential future employer see your value. Next is, how can you solve and improve and generate those dollar signs for a company? And how will partnering with you benefit the company? So I'll give you just a little time here to note down anything that comes to mind. All right, and the next slide is making a plan. So we'll leave these questions up as well, and these will just help you fine tune really, again, what resources can you draw on? Here, the first question, maybe you have tax in the digital marketing space. That could be something, or what would you need to know about the situation to move forward? So perhaps you need to touch base with your family members just to make sure that everyone's on the same page and you receive the support that you need to be able to dive into this effort. Note down what you've tried so far. This will help you figure out what's working, what's not working, what you can optimize, and that can help you move forward as well. The next, what's holding you back from transitioning fields? So this could be mental obstacles, feelings like you're not good enough. We can all struggle with that sometimes, imposter syndrome. That could be just something that might be holding you back, or maybe you are just searching for resources in terms of training programs. Just note down anything that might be applicable here. So what are the consequences if you don't take action to transition careers? Could your role become obsolete? And who does the decision affect? Again, getting buy-in from perhaps your family members who might be affected by this decision. What obstacles are in the way here, and what's stopping you from moving forward? How can you remove those obstacles? And what advice would you give to your best friend if he or she was in this situation? This can sometimes just be helpful in terms of giving yourself a bit of a break from the self-critic. Sometimes we can think this just can't happen or it's not good enough, but you likely wouldn't give that advice to your best friend. So think about it's good to consider that as well. So maybe there are some advantages of staying in your retail position. It's important to highlight those, and also the disadvantages of staying in that same position as well. And one of the most important aspects of making a plan and following through is accountability. So write down what actions you're able to take this week. Maybe it's searching for jobs in your area, or maybe it's gathering and saving a list of job descriptions in an area of digital marketing or any other field that might interest you, and then examining what skills you have and what skills you need to develop. So who do you have in your life to hold you accountable? Maybe it's a friend, family member, someone from your current work that you can how will this person hold you accountable? And write down specifically when you can tell this person about your plan to really solidify things. And to really bring it all together, note down what awareness are you walking away with today? And how will you use this awareness in your career search?